What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Reattack Wrestling Content Show. I'm your host, Pete Kowalski, here with Robby Smith, the bearded wonder, the Olympian, the mullet king at this point. Robby, you want to show off that mullet before we get going? Give us a side view of that mullet. It's incredible, buddy. It's incredible.
Thank you,
how are things, man?
Good. Crazy last 2 months. Hard last 2 months. We had a lot of things going on. Lost longtime coach, father, Mark Halverson. That was really tough. And then had the birth of my son the next week. And then 2 weeks later, we were put in the hospital because my son got diagnosed with spinal meningitis. So it's been a crazy 2 months, and we were in the hospital for 25 days. But he's healthy, happy, and a beautiful child. And now I got a baby that cries, poops, pees, and eats. And it's awesome. I love being a father. I know it's what I was put on this planet to do, and it's awesome. I'm just really happy to be home and be with my wife and my son. So, but Cooper got diagnosed with spinal meningitis on the 23rd of March, and then went through everything. And our first week in the hospital was pretty tough. He had like different things pop up on his spinal taps that they took of him, and so they cleared everything up, got it down to E. coli in the spinal tap, which is called spinal meningitis. The good thing was it wasn't in his brain. It was just in his spinal fluid. And everybody's like, how does this happen? And it's actually not really rare for babies. You just don't hear about it often. I got a ton of people call me, text me, let me know that, their son had it. Eric Guerrero was like one of the first people when he saw my GoFundMe and my message out to the world about it. He called me up and he was like, hey, my son had this same thing, a little bit older, a couple months older, but he is a happy, healthy baby, or happy, healthy child. He's 14 years old and he wrestles and everything. He's like, your son's going to do great. You caught it early enough and all this stuff. And how we caught it was a miracle. Cooper was a pound less at his 2-week appointment. And that was on the 22nd. Our doctor gave us 24 hours to put as much weight on him. So we put 24 hours, we put 22 ounces of milk in him. I'm a heavyweight. I know how to gain weight. So
our expertise.
It's our expertise. So I was like, all right. And so we got him to eat and everything, and he only gained 1 ounce. And so then she's like, 1 ounce is okay, but we were hoping for more. And she's like, I just feel like I want to test his urine. And so she tested his urine. And it was just she's like, I just feel like I should do it. So she just did it. And he had a urinary tract infection. It turns into a blood infection that turns into a spinal meningitis. And so that's how the process started. And, so it's not so, I was saying it was not so rare. It just happens. It could have happened in the womb. Could have had a blowout diaper, and everything happens. And E. coli gets in. E. coli's in poop, gets in the system. Urinary tract infection, blood infection, and spinal infection actually go very quickly to one another when you're under the age of a month, because your immunes aren't there yet. So it was rough. It was hard. It was the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. I wrestled in the Olympics. I've cut weight. I've done so many different things. This was by far the hardest thing I've ever done. Watching your son that you can't communicate to, you can't do anything to, really help him. You're handcuffed, and you sit there and you look at him cry and look at you like he's 2 weeks old. He's looking at you like, help me, like this, like, and you can't do anything. So I thank everybody for the support and prayers they sent my way. It was unbelievable. We started a GoFundMe. My family did, and they said, I thought it was way too high. They said it, the funds at $30,000. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we're not going to hit $30,000. Well, and I said, we should have just done 10 grand. But we hit 10 grand in 2 hours, and we hit 30,000 in 20. And we finally topped off with everything around $50,000. And I just could not believe the support I have from this community and how they rallied around me and my family. It was amazing. I felt like I was getting like a huge hug from the community at one time, and and it made me and my wife stronger. This is the most difficult thing I think a couple can go through. Is watching your child sick in a hospital, and you guys living in a hospital. We lived in the hospital for 25 days, and they call it a colorful jail. And and I was like, we couldn't take him outside. We couldn't do anything. They told us one day we could take him outside, and they slammed the door in our face. And it was rough, but we made it. He's healthy. Like I said, he's healthy. He's amazing. Now it's like we're starting all over with a newborn. Up every 3 hours, and he's crying. We don't have those nurses to help us, and that's another thing. I cannot express how I feel for the Children's Hospital of Colorado. They treated me and Kelly amazingly, and then just the best care for my son. So I give every thanks to them. It's all in God's grace, and I'm happy to be home with my family. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, as your friend and almost brother at this point, when you're in Chicago, we were together 24/7. You and I,
our brother.
We are brothers.
Almost. Brother.
We were roommates in Colorado, and to see you and Kelly have to go through this so early on was a really hard thing for myself and my fiance and my family to see. But to see the overwhelming groundswell of support from the wrestling community shows how tight knit of a group we have in social media, in wrestling, in sports, and how quickly we can help someone out. And I think we're starting to see this power of wrestling. And I think Cooper's case here with this GoFundMe was incredible to watch, because I would say the same thing. I didn't know, like $30,000. I remember texting you a little bit. I was like, I think you'll hit it. And you hit it right away. And yeah. I was saying, you'll get more than that. You're like, no. And we're like, and you did, right? You got up to 50 grand, and incredible to see all that type of support from everybody.
It really was. And just the calls. And I mean, people I didn't talk to for years, or I've never talked to, like just reaching out and communicating with me, because it was, they just wanted to let me know it's going to be okay. And that was another thing. And the money's great, but just the thousands of comments and supports and everything like that, and just saying we're praying for you, from around the world, like friends in Hungary and Norway, Iran, Korea, all around the world were like, people were donating. My mom was going crazy. She always goes crazy, but she was like, you just got a donation from a guy from Hungary, and it was Balaj. It was Kish Balaj from the 96 kilo.
Yep,
like
of course it was.
And it's like, it was just absolutely amazing. I just can't. That's all I can say. It's hard to wrap your brain around at the same time, because you're in this moment of despair, and then this beautiful light comes at you, and you're just like, what in the world? How do I deserve this? I'm going through something this hard, but then like, this is coming over here, and it's all crazy. It's all crazy. So
yeah, it's nuts. I think, my sister had a really rare blood disorder when she was born, and her life has been, and our life has changed ever since that diagnosis of that rare blood disorder. And the trials and tribulations through the family, it makes everyone tighter as you go along, right? And I'm just really grateful that it was something for you all that can be resolved early on, right? It's awesome to hear that he's back at home and he's doing well and he's doing healthy. And it's just right before you came on, we started recording, you brought him on, and just seeing him, and he has your nose, and it's awesome to see it. I'm excited for you as a dad, and cool to see Papa Smith starting to blossom here going forward, and hopefully nothing but health going forward for little Coop.
Yeah, that's all we want. That's all we pray for, is just him staying healthy. So
for sure,
that's what's amazing.
Yep, definitely. All right, well, let's transition into some wrestling. I need to hear your Joe Rau takes, because what I saw that day, it's the craziest thing I've seen in Greco wrestling. It's the worst refereeing call I've seen in Greco. Some people have said that's not true, but in that moment, it's really, really bad. And now that the videos are out, You can see the short clips of the referee blowing the whistle when he's showing up. Robbie, what do you think about that as Joe Rau's boy?
I coached Joe for 2 years. Joe knows exactly. Joe's like, I understand why you couldn't be there, because I was going to plan on going out to trials and help coach him, Luke, and Peyton, and people. Just support. Maybe not even coach, but just support. And it was crazy. I've been screwed over in my career, and I'm not comparing one to another. It sucks though, because you literally you give it your all. You go out there and you give it your all, and then you walk off the mat and you're like, what just happened? Like, I gave everything. I did everything right. I hit for Joe's, and I teched the guy in 30 seconds. I was scoring more points. What just happened? And again, I had 3 screens set up in the hospital, and I am screaming. I'm screaming at the screens. It was driving me absolutely up the wall. That referee should lose his license. He should never ref again. He should definitely never ref in a world team, Olympic trials, nationals, anything that has any implication. Never go. He should definitely never go to the world stage. He should lose his license now. I know he's been in the game for a long time, but that is egregious. That is horrible. That has no right to be there. He's done it to multiple people, and he just should be gone. I don't care. I'm not involved in this case, so I can say whatever I want. He needs to be gone today. He should have been gone that night. They should have reviewed him, taken away his license, and that should have been it. Gone. You're done. Don't come back. Go do folk style. Go do something else. Do not come back to the international style, because this is his game. He likes to integrate himself into people's matches. He wants to be the talk of the town, and this is what he's done. He's put himself in the middle of the Greco-Roman world of the talk of the town of just of straight bullshit. And it was disgusting. Like I said, Joe hit 2 beautiful front headlocks. Hit 1, got 4. What was the difference between the first one and the second one?
There's nothing different. And that's the biggest problem is that he blows the whistle. He lets the first one go for 4. It's a beautiful 4. Yeah. And Joe is cinched up again, and the referee can't even see his neck. If the ref changed positions and he's at the side and he's saying he's across the neck, at least then he has some positional awareness and an ability to see what's going on. But Joe hits the first 4. It's beautiful. He goes to recinch again. The referee is positioned behind his opponent and doesn't actually see the choke and calls it. And one of my issues is this happens all the time in wrestling, but like Robbie, you made a living out of choking people out unconscious. It's happened multiple times, and like, it's part of the game, and you should be able to finish the technique or finish the tech, and then you worry about them, because once the person's limp, they're rolling, and you know that better than anybody.
Yeah. It happened to me in Rio, where I hit an arm throw, and then I got to my front headlock, and they blew I was on his chin, and he passed out, and I was about to roll, and they blew the whistle and stopped it, woke him up, and we kept wrestling. To say that now, the guy actually passed out. Stefanowicz wasn't passed out. Stefanowicz was fine. No. And now I want to say this though. I don't blame Stefanowicz. I don't blame John.
It does. It sounds like it all, but go ahead.
It sucks for him, because he won. He won technically. The referee gave him the match. You know what I'm saying? Because Joe did tech him in 30 seconds. It definitely should be 1-1. How it should.
Yeah. So how do you think it'll play out? How do you think it'll play out here?
How I want it to play out. I don't know where they're at in arbitrations. I have no idea what's going on. If they are in arbitrations, where it is. I have no idea what's going on. But if it does, I think because it happened in the first match, they re-wrestle the whole series. That's my opinion.
That's what I think too.
Because when you get screwed in that first match, your life is you're in a fog. You're not there. And then you have 25 minutes in between, which is stressful, because I guarantee people were coming at him. And then you have to go wrestle the next match, and your head's not there. So they should wipe it slate clean, and then go out and wrestle a third. Or they take it, give Joe the first, give Stefanovic the second, they go wrestle a third at Fargo.
Yeah, I think Fargo, it's got to be the time. It sounds just about right. They've done it before. You'll see it again. USA Wrestling has to do something, at least about this referee on their standpoint. I was shocked to see he was reffing a finals match like 5 minutes later with no review, no one being like, hey, we got to get this guy off the mat. He can't be out there right now. And at Fargo, you can't, Illinois, a referee can't ref an Illinois match, right? The Olympic team trials, a Marine can referee a Marines match. That's different type of bond, right? Like I love Illinois kids, but I'm not a Marine, right? I don't know. They function on a different level as far as being brothers. So like, it's man, it's sad to see. And it is what it is, but I hope it gets resolved here. And hopefully, you know, going forward, Greco can keep building and moving on. So how do you go ahead?
I pray that the system will resolve this the right way, because Joe Ryle deserves the right finish to his career. He retired straight out of emotion. I know Joe so well, and I even told Kelly, I'm like, he's over it. So hopefully it does get resolved.
I'm glad to hear that, you know, rumor mill saying that they're fighting it. I'm glad that it's going on. I'm sure that Joe is kind of recollecting his thoughts and getting ready to roll here, but you just want him to have that final finish, right? You want him to be able to go out like on his sword, go out on his shield, be the warrior that he is, and let the other guy take it from him, not let the referee take it from him, which we hope that he all gets that position. Now, transitioning back into Greco stuff, how do you feel about the prospects of getting these extra couple weights qualified at the second chance qualifier, last chance qualifier?
It's going to be tough, man. The 77 is a grinder of a weight class. I mean, there are like still 3 or 4 world champions that haven't qualified. You know, the Olympics going down to 16 weights makes this qualification tournament the Olympics. Like, it's going to be the baddest ass tournament in the world, because you have to make the finals to win. So Jesse's going to have his hands full. I haven't watched everybody at 77, but I have watched everybody at heavyweight, and Coon's going to have his hands full too. Yeah. You know, there are multiple world medalists and European champions, or, you know, just that have not qualified. Your Asian champions that have not qualified. And he better be on his A game, because I don't know when the last time the U.S. didn't qualify heavyweight, you know, and it'd be rough. That'd be a rough go. And I'm hoping he does get it done, but he has to be on his A game. He has to show up like he showed up in 2018 at the Worlds. Because if he doesn't show up like that, it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Now, Kuhn looked great at Olympic trials. You know, like he handled Colton pretty well. And so that's good. That's good for me to see. That makes me feel better about our prospects. But I agree with you. There's some studs that are in that bracket. And like the last thing you want to do is be going that last chance qualifier, right? And on the freestyle side, you're sending Jo too. And there's like 3 or 4 world champs in that bracket with him. It's like worst case scenario. Like you don't want to be qualifying there, because everyone really wants to go to the Olympics, especially this year after it's a year removed because of COVID. So it's even more pressure going forward. And I don't know what's going to happen in Greco. And I think Greco's in a tough spot right now in the US, just to be frank. And I think that, you know, I think Tracy's got a real shot at placing the Olympics. I think he's our only real medal getter, you know, and now some guys can have a wild tournament, right? No one expected Adam Wheeler, who's the last time that the US had Olympic medalists in Greco was Adam Wheeler in 2008. And no one is expecting him to make it at that time. So there could be someone in that bracket or someone on our team that can make a medal, but Tracy is really my only realistic shot we have. What do you think?
I 100% agree. I mean, I've worked with Tracy since he was 17 years old, and he has blossomed into this amazing international wrestler. And if Tracy has his head on right, I think Tracy can actually win the Olympics, honestly, to be honest. Because he has the skill and the strength and he if he can just keep his head on, he can definitely do it. And what could go down the rabbit hole here, but I hope the Olympic coaches and the Greco-Roman national team coaches do it right. don't have Kuhn go over for a month overseas before he's about to wrestle and get depressed. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need it at all. Have him go and stay home in Michigan and train in Michigan and do what he's doing. Because again, you did say he looked great at trials. Now trials is different than the world. The world's been wrestling Greco for a long time. We just had our first Greco international, not international, but we had our first Greco tournament at trials. So, don't mess it up too much. Let Bormet do his thing, because clearly it works.
Clearly Sean Bormet knows how to coach wrestling.
Right. And it's doesn't matter if it's Greco, freestyle, or folk style. Wrestling is wrestling to those guys, and let him be comfortable. Same with Tracy. Tracy likes to be overseas. Tracy doesn't like anybody in his ear. Tracy likes people, Tracy likes to do Tracy. Let Tracy be Tracy, and Tracy will probably come out with a medal. I don't know. I think he can get gold, but whatever color would be amazing, because like you said, we haven't had a medal at the Olympics since 2008, and we haven't had a full roster at the Olympics since 2012. So
it's going to be tough at 77 kilos to get that spot. Kuhn's got a much better chance just because he's a returning medalist, and he's Adam Kuhn. He's a big body, he's strong as hell, but 77 is going to be really tough. 77 is going to be really tough. But speaking of medals here, Robbie, I try a new thing here called the award stand. So it's a nice little segment I thought about here with the award stand. And because you and I are the heavy set fellows, and we are heavyweights, and we love all heavyweight things, we're going to do the award stand for best heavyweights, or the GOAT heavyweights of all time. Now, for the viewers at home, this could be any type of heavyweight. It doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling. It could be wrestling. But the way it's going to work is Robbie's going to give his bronze medal first. Then I'll give my bronze medal next. Then Robbie will give his silver. I give my silver. He gives his gold. I give my gold. Cool. Or you think we should go snake draft on that, Robbie? Should I give bronze and then silver? That might work. And then you get silver. No, we got to go this way. I'll go first. You go first, then I'll go. And we'll go back and forth that way. But Robbie, bronze medal heavyweight.
So I'm going to have to go. And this is going to be, it's a little out there, but it's not. Stephen Neal.
Stephen Neal.
My bronze
okay, I
medal
love
heavyweight.
it.
He is a world champion, NCAA champion, and 3-time Super Bowl champion. So he didn't win the Olympics or anything like that. He didn't win the Olympics or anything like that. But I understand that people might, but he won the worlds right there. It's a hell of a job. And then went and won people dream to win a Super Bowl. And he left the sport of wrestling, never played football, and went into football and won three state championships. I call them national championships, but I guess Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's a great pick. Okay, so for my bronze medal, here's where I'm going. I'm picking Heavyweights, the movie, because Heavyweights, the movie is an all-time classic. It's an all-time classic. It's on Disney Plus streaming, the greatest streaming service, much better than a certain wrestling service, but the greatest streaming service is Heavyweights. Ben Stiller, he's an asshole in it, and he shames us big people, but in the end, Heavyweights take over the camp. We win. There's a lot of funny salami jokes in there. Fat kids hiding candy everywhere. I appreciate all the love for that movie. So Heavyweights, the movie, my bronze medal pick. So Robbie, you're up with your silver medal. I told you I'm strapped, dude. I told you I'm strapped.
A heck of a pick.
I told you.
So I mean, I'm sticking with wrestling, because I went all wrestlers. No, that's a lie. But I wanted to discuss this other one I had, but he's a bronze medalist, but I put Steven above him. Is Bruce Baumgartner. Bruce Baumgartner is the silver medal of my podium. I mean, he's the GOAT of heavyweights in freestyle wrestling, and it's I have to give it to him, because if we're talking the world scale, I have to throw a freestyle. So I've thrown a folk style national champion, a freestyle. So you probably can see where I'm gearing for my
this
gold
is
medalist.
interesting because your strategy now I'm trying to figure out if I should steal your gold medal, because I have an idea about who your gold medal is, and I don't think you know who I'm going to pick as my gold medal. Okay, so you picked Stephen Neal as your bronze, and then Bruce Baumgartner, who's a fantastic heavyweight. I went to one of his camps, and one of the things he did for his camps is he had all these studs come in. Tally Thompson was there, Rulon was there, Jamil Byers showed up at some point, and then what they would do is they'd weigh everyone at camp, and then they would make a printed t-shirt that said how many pounds of beef you had for that year. And so every year they changed up the weightage, but it was like 21 tons of weight at the heavyweight camp, which was awesome. And it was a great camp, and I think he's still running those. Hopefully he's running it this summer, depending on COVID. My silver medal that I'm going to go with here, I'm going to go with Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxing heavyweight champion of all time, one of the all-time GOATs. But I think he's a single disciplinary heavyweight, so I couldn't necessarily give him the gold medal. But the gold medal goes to Muhammad Ali, all-time great heavyweight, represents the sport, Cassius Clay, social leader, RIP Muhammad Ali, but that's my silver medal. So, Robbie, your gold medalist here. Are you going to do it?
Yes, I'm going to do it. So, Alexander Karelin. I mean, you got to go Karelin. I know Lopez could top it with 4 but Karelin was at a time, I feel in my mind, a way better wrestler with rules that were actually wrestling. That's the only difference. It's like the Jordan LeBron comparison, and you sit there and you look at it. Well, the rules that Karelin had to go through, he had to go through 5-minute matches, or in texts that there weren't texts that you could just keep scoring points and would go forever, or he never wrestled all the way through because he just demolished and go the time. But he wrestled through a time that was, grinders. And I know Lopez has 2, don't get me wrong, but that was a different era. And so Karelin is my gold medalist. He is the GOAT in my mind of all-time wrestling. In any weight class, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Talk to me, come at me. But you can't. He went undefeated. Never threw a match. That's another thing. And dominated the world for 20 years, 19 years,
forever.
So
forever.
So I mean, you can't come at me with anything.
It's a great pick. I knew you were going there, and I think it's the right pick for your gold medalist. I think I picked a better one, but
okay.
Now here's the thing. When we talk about this stuff, like I told you to abstract, I'm going abstract, but I want to talk about Karelin for 1 second, is that for the Olympic level, people like, the swimmer. I don't know what's the swimmer. He's not. Michael Phelps isn't the greatest Olympian of all time. Michael Phelps gets a million opportunities to win gold medals. Just because you're the most gold medals, like if Karelin could have competed in a bunch of different styles or weight classes or whatever, right? In wrestling, you only get 1 shot per Olympics to win a gold medal.
Yep.
Right. And Karelin was able to get a bunch of them. And Phelps, all Phelps does in speed skating and gymnastics, they win multiple gold medals because they compete in different events. In our sport, we only get 1. So I think for sure he's the greatest Olympian of all time. Definitely one of the greatest heavyweights. Now, my heavyweight pick for gold medal, multidisciplinary, NCAA champ, UFC champ, WWE champion, Brock Lesnar. I have to go with Brock Lesnar. The multidisciplinary action of this man, the cultural relevance of who he is and what he represents at this time. And I had to pick him over Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is obviously awesome from a sports standpoint, but a shoot sports. But when we're talking about just a heavyweight, who looks like the scariest man? Now, Karelin too, I'd put him up there. But Brock Lesnar is one of the most intimidating human beings on planet Earth. And he's my gold medalist because UFC, WWE, NCAA, most legit person they've had in the WWE since, including Kurt Angle and then probably Gable Steveson at some point. But just being able to transition from WWE and then go win a UFC title and then go back and win again. And then he played for the Vikings at some point. He's my gold medalist pick for our very first award award stand podium. Robby, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for participating in our first segment, the award stand or the award podium. I got to figure out exactly what we're calling it, but it was fun. And I'm really glad you were on with me today. And anything you'd like to plug, Robby, before we go?
I just want to say again, kind of from what the beginning was, thank you so much for everybody that was donating, contributing, praying, shedding their thoughts to me and my family while we were in the hospital. It meant the world to me and Kelly and Cooper. And I can't thank you guys enough. This is I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad you got it going on. Get started, buddy, because I know you wanted to do it for a while, and this is awesome. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully I could be a returning guest, and we can just, keep going, because I love doing these. I love doing podcasts. I love being a part of it, and you're doing a great job. So thank you everybody. And I had a great time.
Well, I appreciate it, Robby, and I definitely will think of you as a reoccurring guest. I'm sure I'll be bugging you probably in a week and a half when we got to have some more heavyweight content here. But this is thanks for watching the Reattack Wrestling Content Show. I'm your host, Pete Kowalczyk. You can follow us on social on Twitter at The Reattack, on TikTok at Reattack, and on Instagram at The Reattack. All the links and all our social media channels. Hit like, subscribe, tweet this video, send it everywhere. We're trying to kind of build a different type of wrestling brand a little bit, but thanks for joining me, Robby. Thanks for having the heavyweight talk, and we'll see you next time.
See you, buddy.
See ya.